Hello and welcome back to StarCraft II. Here we go, a Zerg versus Zerg against Butuk. I think that's how you say it, Butuk, on Metalopolis. I'm still trying to get used to this whole thing of building a drone first and then doing the split. I still think it doesn't really matter, but I suppose it does make sense to just do it that way anyway. So, what I did in this game was pretty interesting. You've obviously read the title already, and you've got maybe a bit of an idea of what it's going to be about. But there were, again, as there always is, quite a few things that I did wrong, and quite a few that I actually liked in this video. I know I got a bit lucky in this one. I think my opening wasn't that great. It was, again, I know a lot of you said this before, but it was again the fact that I didn't really have that good a plan set up. I think my initial opening was pretty slack. Or not slack, I suppose. I don't know, it just didn't feel right. It was lackluster. I went for a 10 pool because I generally tend to do that nowadays against Zerg, because I don't know, I feel so unsafe going with a 14 pool. I've just been cheesed so often, 6, 7 pooled, even 10 pooled quite often on close spawns, and it's very frustrating. So I generally just open to the 10 pool. I don't go for any all-in or anything like that. I just do it to be safe, basically. But because of that, it's something that I've only been started doing it recently, so it's not something I'm super comfortable with yet, so I don't do it that well. And my build from there on out is, I don't know, but was not so great. I definitely think I can improve on that. But hey, I did it now, it's done, and I'm having a look at the game afterwards. So, from here on out, I mean, I just went up to 13 pool. I've not got my gas going down yet, which I think is a bit of a mistake. I've got enough drones out already that I could have comfortably put 3 on gas just to get that speed quickly, if I wanted it. I could have seen that his gas is already up, so I know he's going to go for that speed fast build, and I could probably also expect some banelings. That's just generally what happens. So from this point out, I was actually thinking to myself, you know, I'm going to get a Zergling or two, just in case, maybe even show them to him. But then I decided that, you know, it's probably better to go for roaches anyway. Because I delayed my gas as much as I did, which wasn't on purpose, that was actually an accident. You could have maybe seen that I opened my spawning pool then, I wanted to research metabolic boost and it just didn't work. So, I definitely made a mistake there. That was a boo-boo. But that means I could get a couple of extra drones out. I could get my overlords out in time. Basically, I could prepare. And you'll see in a second when I get my roach warren down, eventually. It was way too late. I really think I could have gotten that a bit sooner. There was no reason to delay it as much as I did. I had 300 minerals right now. I could have gone for either that roach warren or the expansion. I did decide to go for the expansion. And in retrospect, I do think the roach warren would have worked better. I can't do anything about that now, obviously. But I think that having a couple of roaches out to defend this expansion going up would have been a better idea, and you'll see why in just a minute or two. My opponent does put a bit of pressure on, and another thing I think I should have done is maybe use my Zerglings a little bit more, been a bit more proactive with him, had a look around his base, see if he was maybe going for roaches as well. I was assuming he was going to go for fast speedlings because I saw the gas going up so early, but that could have obviously been indicative of roaches too. I didn't know. I was very happy to see that he hadn't thrown down his expansion yet, but that also made me wonder, you know, is he teching already? Is he going for one base muters? Is he building up a mass of speedlings, and is he just going to charge in here and kill me? Because if he had done that, I wouldn't have been able to defend it. If he just ran across the map, the gap between our two bases is not that big. If he just ran across there now with 20, 30 Zerglings, I would have been dead. That's that. So, I wasn't really sure what he was doing here. I was following him around anyway, though, just to make sure I could see where he was going. But he was running around, and that obviously just made me a little bit curious. I was wondering why he ran that way. I had no idea. Probably just scouting, something like that. But I knew he was going to attack now, and I think I got lucky. Holding this attack off was a bit of luck. I got 2 roaches out just in time, and I think they scared him away for just long enough for me to sort of survive. You'll see in just a second what I mean. He nearly had me in this situation. I'm not going to spoil the game or anything, but this was nearly the end of it right here. This is not the end of the video, as you could have told. So I'm doing the good old day 9 trick, and I call this the day 9 trick because I watched a daily a long time ago where he mentioned that having like 6 roaches on your ramp, when it's a map with small ramps at least, really helps a lot to sort of deny scouting, keep those speedling run-bys out, but then at the same time your expansion is exposed. If you have a look now, my expansion has nothing to defend it, and I'm not even sure how I made this, because I think if he controlled his units a little bit better, he probably would have done better here. My micro here was terrible. My queen came out at just the wrong time, and I didn't move it away in time. I pulled the roaches in because I thought to myself, okay, it's probably a good time to attack, and then I didn't even pull the queen back in time, and then it gets surrounded and taken down. But I think because of that, I got enough shots off on those Zerglings to scare him off for at least a little bit longer for me to get a couple more roaches out, and prepare for those banelings that were coming. I did okay. I think I did okay here. I pulled one roach away to deal with that one Zergling that was there just in time for those banelings to pop, so that roach didn't take any damage. And then I moved in to try save my natural expansion here, and he should have actually stuck with attacking it, but he didn't. Then I pulled my roaches back, I started attacking these speedlings, and I think this was where I got lucky. I think he had the potential to do a lot more damage there, especially if he just controlled those Zerglings a bit better, maybe focused down the hatchery when he was on it, because that's very little health that it's on now. And you'll see in just a few minutes I actually transfuse it up a little bit more to make sure it doesn't just get taken down by a run by again. But I was happy with where I was right now. The second those crawlers went down, I was feeling a lot more comfortable. I was getting my +1 upgrade. I had a couple of roaches out now, which he didn't have. I was pretty sure of that. I wasn't 100% sure, obviously, because I wasn't really scouting very much, as seems to be the norm. But I didn't expect him to have any roaches out, especially not with having those banes there. So he had to play defensively now. He would either have to go for Mutalisks, or he'd probably switch over to roaches as I have right now. It'll probably deteriorate to the whole roach infester thing, and that I've told you many times before. I really dislike playing roach infester against roach infester, about as much as I dislike playing banelings and zerglings versus banelings and zerglings. I don't know, it's not fun to me. And yes, please ignore the fact that I'm getting supply capped every 2 seconds. But when I scouted his expansion, I saw that it had just gone up. He had no drones there. I was again pretty happy with my position. I had a decent saturation. It wasn't anything really special, but I was sort of happy with it. So I decided to get my lair tech now. I wanted to get roach speed out. I probably had to get that +2 attack soon, especially if it was going to be roach versus roach. And I think now probably would have been a good time to get a third down as well, and a couple more overlords, because I just seriously suck at getting overlords out. For some reason I always forget. And now the reason I was throwing down all these gases was because I knew in my previous game, and yes, I had played a game or two before this, I knew that I once again forgot to get the infestors out in time. I'm always late on those infestors. Then he always seems to have more than I have, and he gets better fungals than me. Maybe he just gets more fungals than me because he gets the pathogen glands out earlier. I don't know. Anyway, so I did get that extra queen out. I could transfuse my hatchery. That's good. Finally, it's a little bit more than just red. And I again think I should have been scouting a little bit more now. I could have just thrown 1 or 2 speedlings in there. Well, in my case, zerglings right now. But I should have probably done something, at least. I was happy with the fact that I actually got his overlord, even with my queen off the creep here. That was a really risky move, but it seemed to pay off somehow. So, connecting my main with my natural. Again, something I should never forget, and I always do. Well, not always, but sometimes. My creep spread is usually okay. In Zerg vs Zerg, it's sort of a double-edged blade, because if you spread yours nice and far, you got a lot of vision on the map. You force him to get an overseer out, which I think sometimes you want to get anyway, especially in Roach vs Roach, because generally one of the players tends to get burrow. And in this case, it was me. I'm spoiling that for you right now. But it's always nice spreading your creep, especially if you know he's going to spread his aggressively. Rather spread yours first so that he doesn't get that sight and you do. But yes, going for the roach speed, going to get that upgrade soon as well, +2 weapons for the roaches, because it's actually really difficult to stay ahead of your opponent in upgrades, but it's very important at the same time. So, now I was sort of happy with what I had. I saw him moving out a little bit and I got a bit frightened there, but he didn't decide to push right now. I was happy with the amount of drones I had. I think I could have gotten quite a few more on my main. If you look at my main right now, it wasn't saturated. I hope I get more now. I can't remember. But my saturation is really low. It's not even 2 per patch. And I just didn't realize it. For some reason, when I'm in the heat of the battle or in the middle of this game and things are getting totally intense here, I don't realize that I don't have enough drones. I need to make a little sign and stick it up on my computer or on my screen or something just to remind me, build more drones, because I never do. For some reason, or it should just say check drones, because I should check the drone count right there, and it looks like it's just more than 8, probably 9 or 10 drones there, and that's not enough. That's really embarrassing, actually. Don't look at that. Just avert your eyes, please. But anyway, let's just move away from the drones for a second. What I'm going to do now is pretty interesting, and I'm very happy that I did it. I was really happy with the creativity that hit me during this game. Now, I had a good bunch of roaches out, and you may have noticed that I queued up a bunch of speedlings there too. I did get metabolic boost out. So I've got speedlings at the moment. I'm getting my +2 weapons, and I'm getting my carapace. Now, the speedlings were actually like a really integral part of this game for some reason. I don't even know why I did that, but it worked out incredibly well. And you'll see in just a second. It's sort of a basic fundamental of the Zerg race that I hadn't fully grasped before now. And this is one of the things that I said at the start of this video, or before at least, in one of my vlogs. I can't remember where I said it. But this is one of the things that I've really improved on recently. And I feel that I'm learning new things in every single game. And this is one of the things. I can tell you right now, this is what I learned in this game. I learned that counter-attacking is incredibly effective if done well. Flanking, counter-attacking, whatever you want to call it. Being creative in that sense, when you're actually about to engage in a battle, thinking outside the box when that happens is a good thing. You know, thinking about what you can do other than what's happening in the immediate battle helps a lot. So, you can see I had that little group of Zerglings on the left-hand side of the map. They're just sitting there. They're just chilling for now. And I just kept them there. My idea with that was to, when he moves across to my side of the map, and I knew he was going to do that, okay? For some reason, I'm never the aggressor. It's always my opponents that attack, and that might be a bad thing, sure, but I was going to go and harass him to either keep him away, or when he moves out to attack his mineral line and do some damage there. And the timing was just so lucky. You can see I burrowed my roaches there, and this was just a hunch from me. I thought to myself, okay, I don't have infestors out, I'm taking a chance. I moved my Zerglings into his third, then as he moves over my roaches, I got so lucky. I burrowed on top of the infestors, and as you know, their priority is higher, and my roaches focused them down immediately. Now, I could have spread my roaches out a little bit more here. The concave wasn't that great, but look at the damage that I'm doing to this natural. There's absolutely nothing he can do about this. I've got reinforcements coming in. I'm constantly building more roaches while I'm waiting here, and as you can see, that's it for his base. So I think that was obviously the only reason I made that, because of the burrow on my roaches. I sort of sprung that on you at the end there. I on purpose didn't mention the fact that I researched that, but that was the reason that I actually made that fight. I think if he had gotten a couple of fungals off there, I would have been over. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to fight him. Fungals do a lot of damage against roaches, and if he could just kept me in place there, I wasn't in such a good position. So I got really lucky. Perhaps if he was a bit quicker, he would have gotten a few fungals off there when I unburrowed, but alas, he wasn't. And then again, as I said, something new that I learned. Okay, firstly, positioning makes a big difference, because I could pop up in the middle of his army there, because I got lucky with that burrow that I had there, and that was a real, like, snap decision by me. It was a bit of luck involved, obviously, but I was happy with the fact that I did that. And then obviously, because I kept those Zerglings on the side to counter-attack when he attacked, I basically just solidified my position in the game. Even if he had done damage to my expansion, even taken it out or gotten close to taking it out, I still would have had a chance to fight back, so that was good. Anyway, you can let me know what you think about the game. Do you guys learn something every single game you play? Do you go out of your way to try new things? Because I think it really paid off in this game for me. But anyway, thanks for watching, and happy StarCrafting.